We're both grooving.
I am dancing the whole time.
So welcome everybody, Cindy Bacino, your host for Sterling Women, and our business coach, our annual sponsored business coach, Cort Maddox from Silverline Coaching. And we're doing a whole series, and we'll probably do even more just because I love working with Cort, and I think his information and his knowledge and his experience, and he has like an incredible background that most of you probably don't know in finance and banking and working with the SBA. And I mean, his experience is so unique, and I can tell you really helped me a lot during COVID, and having the knowledge that I needed to survive COVID. But anyway, so we're here with Cort Maddox and doing a series of business videos just for Sterling Women, just for Sterling Women. So I might not even put them on LinkedIn. So I might just keep it on the Sterling Women Facebook group and page. But anyway, today we're talking about, or this video, we're talking about, do business coaches have business coaches? Would you hire a business coach that didn't have a business coach? What is the purpose of a business coach having a business coach? I don't know. You know where I'm going, right? So do you have a business coach, Cort Maddox?
I do. I make sure that I've got somebody that is constantly keeping me accountable. And that's part of the benefits of it. It's real easy to get sidelined. And when you don't have, and many of you know this is true in the coaching field as well as any other industry, is that when you don't have somebody that is really kind of guiding you and mentoring you and coaching you, your business becomes the, I had red hair when I was growing up, so I'm just going to say it, the redheaded stepchild, right? No offense to all the redheads out there. I still have a little bit in the beard. There's a lot more gray in there now, but it becomes kind of, okay, I'll get to it when I get to it. And that becomes a challenge, because in doing that, then it just gets neglected time and time again, to where eventually you look back and your business isn't at all what you originally thought it was going to be, because you've essentially morphed to what your clients have really wanted you to become. And this is part of the challenge of the customer always being right, because then your business becomes something completely different. So being a coach and working with another coach that mentors me and guides me along the way helps me to keep grounded within my business so that it doesn't get completely forgotten. Because I have on my calendar, I create the schedule and the calendar, but if I don't have somebody keeping me accountable to that, I am human, contrary to some belief. I know, it happens.
Superhero.
But I have a tendency, I can push away from that as well. I have a reading assignment for me every day within my calendar to make sure that I'm constantly learning. One of the things I learned early on, which, by the way, I'm actually coming up 7 years in coaching.
Are you really?
I am. I was in finance for 17 years, and I was looking at it and was like, you know what? I think I'm getting there in time, which is crazy to me. Time has flown by, but we have a tendency that we want to be able to continue to grow and nurture ourselves, our minds, and everything else. But what was told to me early on is that eventually your clients outgrow you, and that's when they look to go a different direction. And so I am constantly trying to battle that, to make sure that I am learning every single day, so that is less likely to happen, and I can still continue to be a benefit to my clients for the long run.
I can honestly say that I have not outgrown you yet. Now, I don't know how slow I am for that. Please say that is not, I have not outgrown you. So that, I guess that's a really, really good thing. And I think, so the reason why I wanted to ask this question, because I came up with all the questions for these short video tips, was because I have my own version of my life coach, right? That I go to with my challenges, with my relationship challenges with myself, with my clients, with my husband, who inspires me to grow, to look at my life, to look at my bad habits, to, to keep me growing in the right direction. And there are so many, I find that there are many people who stop growing, right? And for someone like me who is so growth oriented, I don't want to be with someone else, someone else who's not growth oriented either.
Thuffer Thuckatash.
I know. So I don't know why someone would want to have a coach that wasn't constantly growing and had their own person to kind of keep them. I don't want to talk to me about that. Do you find that with any other business coaches or any kind of other coaches that don't?
Well, I think that it comes down to the earlier point that if you have somebody that isn't constantly learning and growing themselves, you will outgrow them. And that can be over a short period of time, or it can be over a year's time, or what have you, because if you're constantly growing as an individual and your coach isn't, then you'll outgrow them. That's inevitable. So their growth may be here and you're here. And, again, this is not growth everybody is an expert in their own business. I'm not saying that at all, but a growth from the standpoint of moving the business forward. If their level is here and they're not consistently growing it up, then eventually your knowledge base will supersede theirs and you'll have to grow without them. And that's a decision that you'll have to make at some point.
So do you think it's a valid question to ask, when you are interviewing life coaches, business coaches, mindset coaches, whatever? Do you think it's a valid question to ask? Do you have a coach that you are accountable to and that helps you grow?
Right. I absolutely think that that's a valid question to ask. Number one, buying into the profession of coaching. Athletes have multiple coaches all across the board. We've already proven scientifically that coaches help performance. No matter what type of coach it is, they will help performance of the individual. But if you're working with somebody that doesn't have that and doesn't have, mentors that they work with and in order to continue to help them grow, then how much do they truly believe in the profession? If you really believe in it and buy into it, then the value that it has for individuals. And so why would you prevent that from having a value in your own business so that you could give other people that same benefit?
Yeah, again, it's another reason why I didn't become a therapist. There are very few types of therapy, like even psychiatry. It's not required that they do what's called supervision anymore, and like LCSWs, it's not required that they do their own personal growth work. They go to school, they get their master's degree, but there's no accountability for follow up, and because our clients, at least like within life coaching, our clients can really challenge our stuff, right? And sometimes it's very difficult to differentiate their stuff from our stuff, right? So one of the reasons why I love the Barbara Brennan School of Healing is because she was like, if you don't know yourself so intimately, if you don't know your brilliance, you don't know your bad habits, you don't understand what your fears are, what your goals are, your dreams are, if you don't, then how you cannot tell where you end and the others begin. And so I take that even into, business coaching and all the different types of coaching that there is out there, divorce coaching, relationship coaching, and whatever. That it's super important to have your own person that helps you in whatever kind of that means. So.
Right, because at the end of the day, it's your business, and you don't want somebody guiding you on your business that's just pushing you in a direction that they want you to go in. It's why the successes of my clients are not my success, because it's the work that they're putting in. And while a lot of people will come up Cort, this was all because of you, and so on. And that's fantastic. I love hearing that. But the reality is that my clients put in the work and they created it. It wasn't me creating it because that's the way I saw it. It was them creating it based on our conversations and our structure. And you mentioned something earlier regarding direction, and it realistically, when you're it, if you're not willing to ask for directions in order to get where you want to go, then how are you going to know when you get there or if you get there? That's what
Yeah.
it boils down to. We don't come with a map. We don't come with an instruction booklet. We really, in order to reach optimal performance, we've got to be willing to ask for directions.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's just so important. I mean, one of the reasons why I loved therapy was because I realized that my version of reality was not necessarily like the version of reality, right? So I would go and I would question, like, okay, this is what I think is happening. This is what I think is going on. Like, what do you think? Because I know my stuff and how my stuff can interpret or misinterpret, right? But yeah, I think it's super important that we are able to somehow have someone that we can reflect with and grow with. And I love, and of course, the accountability piece, right? To help us stay on task and understand and have compassion for us as human beings. So thank you, Cort. So thank you for joining us, and thank you for helping us understand why this is important, and it's an important question to ask. And one of the things I always tell my clients is if someone gets up in front of you and says that they don't have the same struggles as you, then you need to leave. Right? And it's one of the things I love about you is like, yeah, I'm human. I have someone that helps me with my accountability. I have someone that helps me stay on task and keep me in the right direction. That's my direction, right? So thank you again. And thank you for taking all this time for Sterling Women. I really, really appreciate it. And everybody, Cindy Bettino, host of Sterling Women, and Cort Maddox, Silverline Coaching, our annual sponsor, business coach sponsor. See ya.
See ya.